Hello. So I just watched the last video I did just because my thoughts are all over the place. And it cut me off. So yeah, I've been burned out. I think I might end up doing some videos about autism and ADHD burnout. I don't really know a whole lot about it. My counselor is going to start working with me on ways to regulate my nervous system. Because I think when we get stressed out, we just are, ADHD and autism both. People can have a really overactive nervous systems already. And so stress can be really bad. But thank you if you've come and watched the last video. Again, my name is Sherry. I haven't been recording in I think a few weeks. I've been sick again. I've been in burnout, apparently. I did talk to my boss about maybe leaving. I do want to do a video about that soon. Because I don't know if there's any aspect of your life that ADHD does not affect. So the first part to this, which I already posted and I just, rewatched, I made a list of the things that I wanted to cover. And there's mess behind me and I'm sorry. So what I started talking about is the two separate series of videos that I would like to do. My plans for recent future from now. The next things that I would like to do on the channel is I want to have one series of videos where I'm going over different organization, time management, charts, systems that might help you. Because it helps me too. One of the really good things about me doing this channel is as I'm thinking about helping you guys, other people who have what I have, feel less alone and less overwhelmed. I mean, some of these aspects are really embarrassing. We don't share with other people. And if they get really bad, some people's homes look like a hoarder's home because they literally cannot think straight to clean their piles of stuff. There's a reason why ADHD is classified as a neurodevelopmental disability. It's protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act, and if you get your diagnosis to HR of whatever workplace you are in and prove that you have it, you are protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act if you live in America. So basically that means that you cannot be fired for symptoms of ADHD. It's protected under law, because it is a disability. We don't want to feel disabled. Nobody wants to feel disabled. There is a saying I've heard before, and I was just kind of reflecting on it this morning, that you can respect someone or feel sorry for them, but you can't do both. And then I was thinking, so we've been kind of shamed in our culture to not talk about things and hide things. Now, granted, when you're in a public environment, if you work with the public, like customer service, you're not there to talk about your issues, right? You're there to represent the company you're working for and give them the customer service. That's being professional. And you're there to do a job. You're not getting paid to talk about your issues. I get it. But yeah, I thought about, well, what about people who have cancer? What about people who are in a wheelchair? Who maybe they have muscular dystrophy or some other kind of health problem where they have a physical disability. And I don't mean feeling sorry, pity. I mean empathizing. You feel for them. Do you respect them less? Do you respect somebody with breast cancer less? That's basically implying that having an illness or a disability of any kind is a character flaw, something we can change. So managing ADHD is tricky. There's lots of issues around work environment, if it's safe to disclose to your manager or not, and it may not be. If you see your manager being discriminating against other people, or you hear them talk about certain topics because they don't know you have it because you haven't shared it yet and you pass as neurotypical, then you know it's not safe. I know that you're technically by law protected, but I wouldn't want to work with somebody like that. I wouldn't want to share something like that with somebody who is judgmental. I understand it. Before I learned about it or knew I had it myself, I was judgmental too because I didn't know any better. I didn't know. I had to educate myself. Yeah, I was diagnosed in like 1999 or 2000. It was a different time. I can't believe it. 24 years ago. Wow. So the things that I wanted to mention, oh yeah, so I keep going around and around. Like I said, my symptoms are bad today, so bear with me. So the one series of videos will be your organization hacks, different tools to keep you on track. And my goal for those is basic stuff. So you're going to have your daily things to keep your environment functional, not good housekeeping, gorgeous, functional. And then you can gradually start small and improve it as you go. You want to learn a way that works for you so you can do just a few things to keep it from getting really bad where it's going to impair you. Because huge piles of dishes, huge piles of bags of trash, all the clutter that we tend to get because we're too busy to deal with it and we'll deal with it later, it gets bad and it makes the ADHD worse. So that, plus you also want a place where you can write your long-term goals, because we will avoid them at all costs. It's a human nature thing, but especially with executive functioning issues, makes it very hard to start to tackle some of those, and then we don't move forward in life. So there's that series of videos with the systems, charts, hacks, organizing, to help you figure out something that works for you. And then the other ADHD series of videos I want to do, it's kind of like a school. I want to explain what it is, you know, as far as not the basic stuff. You can go to anybody's website, anybody's channel and learn what it is. And you can do all of that stuff. There's a lot of content and a lot of great content. And I, invite you to go learn about it in many different places. But what I want to get into is for each video, I want to cover a topic, organizing systems and effects of ADHD. So last year, I can't remember what month it was. I think it might have been, hey, I'm making good for time. It's 8, and I still haven't gotten ready while talking to you. Apparently I can't do both. So for that, I went to this ADHD group and I found it very helpful. Now, anyone who lives in Massachusetts, if you have Leahy Health, and I know that these videos anywhere all over the world can watch anyone's YouTube channel. Hello, everyone. So Leahy Hospital Systems and Leahy Health in Massachusetts is not something that everybody's going to have. Only some people who live near me. If you have that, get a counselor if you can. If you're open to it, I encourage that. It's very helpful. Why shut yourself out from tools that could really help you better manage your life, keep it under control so it doesn't have to be as much of an issue. It doesn't have to impact your work as much. And you can talk to them as a therapist, and you can deal with the overwhelm and the shame and the embarrassment and come to better terms with it so that you can integrate it into your life and be better. What was I going to say? Oh, there is this ADHD group, and I believe the woman who started it, I think she was helping children, educate children with learning disabilities and ADHD. She was mostly working with kids, and then eventually she thought, I want to help adults. So I don't know how many years she's been doing it, and I don't know if other hospital systems, insurance system, wherever you go, have something similar, because I know she's just been doing it on her own. But it's really good. So you have to be kind of on a wait list because there's only 15 slots altogether. And I was on the wait list for it. I had to wait for a couple of cycles. I had to wait a few months before I got to be part of a group. And at first I was a little resistant to it. I kind of thought, I don't want to go to a support group. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. Start to recognize, my tip is, if you recognize this resistance in yourself, it's normal. If you recognize this resistance in yourself to getting self-help books or looking stuff up, especially if you just got diagnosed, there's a lot of issues with our acceptance with it, and we're already overwhelmed. So who wants to go to what you might perceive as a support group? But it's not like that. It was like a class. So each week we would go, and it's 6 weeks long, and each week we would go over a different topic. And some of the people I invited to join my channel, we exchanged emails and I sent them. If anybody's here, I thank you. But so some of this will be maybe repetitive for them, but it's only going to be part of my content. But I really did like how she broke it up. So the first week we went over the anatomy of the brain of somebody who has ADHD and why it's physiologically different. The brain chemicals are different. The way it functions is different. If you ever hear the term anatomy and physiology, anatomy is what's in there. Yes, we have the same brain that everybody else has, but some parts are a little bit smaller. The connections work a little different, and we're deficient in dopamine. And it kind of helps you to know you aren't alone and it's not your fault. It's nothing you did. So there is that whole balance of responsibility versus, it's a tricky balance. As you start to manage it better, then you can look at, okay, what am I responsible for? What am I able to change? And that's part of your journey. And don't try to do that right away. Just want to heal and start small. So yeah, for the different 6 weeks, the things I could remember are, of course, the first week was your brain, the ADHD brain, the actual brain. So you can see it's real. You're not imagining it. I still gaslight myself. A whole lifetime of telling yourself you're fine doesn't help. So it's going to take a while to undo all of that. It's a lot to unpack. And that's where the counseling comes in. So there was that. And then after that, there were all the different aspects of our life and our brain functioning and how it affects us. So one week we deal with executive functioning issues, having poor executive functioning. Another one might be poor working memory. Another week may be emotional regulation. Another week may be disorganization. Maybe one is time blindness, time management. All of these things can really, really disrupt your ability to live a normal life. So people don't think of it as serious. I will share videos in the future of actual conversations I have had with doctors, with pharmacists, with hearing what pharmacists said to somebody else, bosses to me. It's shocking. It is absolutely shocking, the misconceptions. For something that is so well known these days, it's amazing how much misinformation is there because people don't want to be bothered with it. They think you're just distracted. It's an executive functioning issue. It's a neurological condition. It's not just how well you pay attention. If you can't even go into the next room without getting distracted and not know what you're doing, not know how to plan your day, not know how to get to work on time, and you don't understand why, it's like this invisible little thing, an invisible monster messing with you. I don't really know how to describe it, but there's nothing you can do about it. So how do you manage something that's not functionally working like other people's brains, right? That's what we're gonna work on. So I talked about the two different systems for my channel, two different series of videos, one on systems and one on education. I'd like to in the future also continue with that opioid epidemic, because that was fun. Not fun in the sense that it's really serious issue right now, and it's really scary. Really, really. My heart goes out to all those who may stumble upon those videos who have lost a loved one. It's horrible. But I love to research things. I love medical information, so I do enjoy to geek out, and it's like part of the way my brain works. It's never good enough for me to just learn it. I want to know why. I question everything. So I allow myself to do that and that. So that will be coming up. I want to do some shorts to make it so much more digestible instead of just long form videos. Let's see. I already discussed what I want to do with my channel. Oh, I wanted to mention to you guys, if you see coloring book videos that I'm releasing each week, it's just because I'm brand new. I know I've been here for maybe a month or so, but with being sick for probably a month now, it's really sabotaged my efforts. So in the meantime, I've just kind of been posting those coloring book videos. My phone camera cuts me off, and it just like stops recording and it starts, and it all makes like a bunch of little videos, and I didn't know what to do with them. I was sick and I couldn't do anything else, and I wanted to post something. And a friend of mine said, post them, schedule them to be once a week to take advantage of the algorithm to start getting people to learn about my channel and hopefully get some new members. So I apologize for that. Even my mom was just like, I was like, hey, have you checked my channel? She's like, you have coloring book photos. I'm not really interested in that. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's just for the algorithm. I mean, it is sharing hobbies, but that's why those are there. So if they get on your nerves or they're kind of dumb, just ignore them. They're just there for now. I already talked about that I've been sick. Oh, I'll start another one, and how I would like to talk to you about how ADHD affects your health management, because it has been a huge impact on me. Executive functioning, trying to find a doctor through lists of doctors and especially during COVID where I couldn't even find one. That was a nightmare. So I was starting to say how I know a few people that I've met. Some I've met through the YouTube, and some I've met in my regular everyday life, like maybe work. I meet people and I get to know them a little bit. And several people do not have health insurance. And I'm thinking, it took me a long time before I actually went and got mine. Why? Well, this to me seems like it's probably a thing.